So I just wanted to announce the existence of my backup channel. It's Argent Archives. If and when my main channel gets shut down, I will just change this to Argent, and I'll just reconfigure it and just copy everything from my original channel. Now, what I do have up is I am gradually uploading all my videos to this channel as well. Now, that's a long, slow process because, as you know, I spam. I'm kind of like a political reviewer version of DSP. I have a tendency to spam shit, so it's going to take a long time to get everything uploaded. But I've started now, and I'm going to continue getting things done. I've already gotten, I think, like 60 or 70 reaction reviews uploaded. So yeah, so if and when my channel gets shut down, the backup channel would basically be the same thing. It would just be slightly more stealthy. I'd get rid of maybe like the top 5 or 10% edgiest stuff I put up, like anything with alt-right in its title. But like 90% of what I do is fine. Reactionary reviews are fine. Most of the podcast stuff is fine. The various movie reviews, character profiles are fine. The DSP stuff is fine. A lot of the specific political videos are fine. It's because anything like where the person actually has to watch it, and anything where the person actually has to like try to piece together what it is that I'm saying. I'm trying to think of like how to explain this in kind of a more coherent way. It's just kind of difficult. I mean, if you have to go in and you have to watch like a reaction review and you have to find where I alluded to something edgy and then like take that part out and explain why it's edgy, like people aren't going to do that. They're looking for low-hanging fruit. So if I remove the low-hanging fruit, like I'm pretty confident that it'd be fine for everything else. So yeah, just that was a rambling way of just explaining that I may eventually have to move to a backup channel. Obviously, that's not happening. It probably won't happen, but just letting you guys know in case something happens. With regards to the whole Charlottesville thing, sorry, parents haven't gotten rid of the old phone yet. So, with regards to Charlottesville, what can I say about the whole Charlottesville thing? I'm just gonna say this was because people have been asking me to support, like to unequivocally support it. People have asked me to condemn it. People have said you're a cuck if you criticize it. People have said you're a cuck if you don't criticize it. I'm just gonna say it was a bit of a clusterfuck. I don't know if that was the point though. Because on one hand, I think it does show to everybody just how far Antifa, how far the left, how far the establishment will go to shut us down, and to shut anybody down who disagrees with them. I think that was very important to show off. On the other hand, the other problem was it was a clusterfuck, and there was a couple instances where people died. Now, to be fair, that wasn't really the fault of anybody on our side. I really can't really blame them. As far as I know, the guy who ran the people over, I think they were like pounding on his car with baseball bats or something. So, I don't know, it just seems like it was a bad situation. But that's just kind of what happens when like shit hits the fan and people are like throwing shit at each other and there's fights going on and everything. When you ratchet tensions up that much and you basically attack people in a tense situation, that sort of thing is more or less kind of guaranteed to happen. And loss of life is always tragic, but realistically, I'm not really... It was bound to happen eventually. I'm sorry that people died, but I don't think it was deliberate. I mean, to be perfectly honest, if I was in a car, let's say I was in, I don't know, downtown Toronto, and I was a riot spontaneously broke out, and a bunch of like thugs came up and started hitting my car with a baseball bat, I might slam down on the gas and try to get away and and knock people over. I think that's just kind of human nature. And I guess I'd say the same thing. Like, I'm not trying to be a cuck here or anything, but I guess if, like, in the same vein, if, like, a bunch of, like, edgy people were beating on like, a Antifa person's car with baseball bats, I think it's understandable if they would run them over, too, in an attempt to get away. It's a bad situation. It never should have happened. If the police had have done their jobs, if the government had have done their jobs, then there would have been designated protest zones. There would have been barriers. It's entirely the gross irresponsibility of the government, state, municipal, and federal, for why it happened. There was absolutely no reason for there to be, like, for this to be a clusterfuck. It's literally just done because of the ineptitude and because they wanted this. Ultimately, it's the left that always wants violence in these situations. Like, they were honestly just kind of going there to protest. And Antifa decided to show up and turn it into a war and to start just the clusterfuck that it wound up becoming. So I don't really know how you can blame our side for this one. So I don't know. So was it wise to do this? Was it not wise? Was it a good idea? Was it a bad? I don't really know. It's kind of hard to say, and time will tell if this was a net benefit or a net detriment. I like some of the people who were there. I dislike some of the people who were there. Overall, I guess just the best thing I can, or the most succinct thing I can say about it is this was caused by the gross irresponsibility and the political motivations of the various governmental figures involved. There's no reason this shouldn't have been a peaceful protest, but they chose the path of blood. I'm sorry that people died. My prayers and thoughts go out to them and their families, I guess. I don't know who the people are who actually died. But that's what they wanted. That's what Antifa wanted. The government wanted that. So there's not a lot we can really do. I don't think, from what little I know, I don't think what the guy did was meant as an offensive action. If he was deliberately mowing people down, then yeah, that was a really not a good idea. But honestly, if the guy was like just getting like attacked and he was afraid for his life and he panic slammed the gas down, like, I think pretty much anybody would have acted the same way in that situation. So that's my thoughts on the matter, and I'll talk to you guys later.